Welcome in to another week of NJCAA All Access. It's October 19th, and today is NJCAA Day. I'm Zach McKinstry.
And I'm Alexa Wesselman. To give you a little background on why we celebrate NJCAA Day, it's to celebrate junior college. Every reason that you pick junior college and every opportunity that can come from attending a junior college. This year's theme is A Million Reasons Why. Our goal is to raise $1 million for the NJCAA Foundation. What you can do to help is go to njcaa.org/million and donate $1.
It's a great opportunity to help those young athletes and support them on their journey. And we have a million things to talk about on this week's episode, including a crazy week of junior college football. It was utter chaos in junior college football last weekend, with 3 potential playoff contenders getting upset, including the best offense in the country, number 4, Mississippi Gulf Coast. They lost to Copiah Lincoln at home. The Wolves defense smothered the Bulldogs offense in the first half, who was averaging more than 500 yards and 50 points a game coming into this one. MGC could only muster 10 first-half points, and the first score of the game came on this 38-yard scoop-and score by Dedrick Hicks. Colin finished with 3 forced fumbles, held the Bulldogs to 18% on third down, and a big third quarter put the Wolves up 28-10. The one thing they couldn't stop was Trey Hall, who finished with 213 rushing yards on 20 attempts, including this 70-yard touchdown to keep Gulf Coast in the game in the fourth quarter. The Regulators' defense of MGC trimmed the deficit even more on the next drive as Kevin Larkins picked off Devon Tott and went 65 yards for another score. After a failed 2-point conversion and a Wolves punt, MGCCC had a chance to take the lead with 4 minutes to go, but a big hit on starting quarterback Eli Anderson knocked him out of the game for the final 4th down play, and the backup Kason Link couldn't convert to seal the win 28-23 for Copiah Lincoln. For as thrilling as that Thursday matchup was, undefeated Northeast Mississippi and East Central raised the bar with an overtime nail-biter that concluded with a Warriors upset. While he might share the name with a reckless LAPD officer from Rush Hour, Southern University transfer Chris Tucker was much more pragmatic, dismantling the Tigers for 319 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. Each TD through the air went to a different receiver, and 4 different Warriors tallied more than 50 yards. The defense shined for ECCC as well, getting 3 sacks and a forced fumble, which helped the Warriors offense set up for a game-winning field goal in regulation, but a doink off the upright sent it to overtime. East Central wasted no time with a 22-yard connection to Ethan Howard to strike first in the extra frame, and a massive defensive stand on 4th and 2 on the ensuing Tigers drive locked up the win 28-21. Those shockers reopened the door to a conference title for a number of teams, as number 7 Jones beat Pearl River by 2 scores, number 15 Northwest returned to the win column, number 10 EMCC shut out Coahoma, and Hines defeated Southwest in another Mississippi OT game. Here's a look at the current standings in the MACCC, which are a complete fiasco. In the North, Northeast still leads with a perfect division record, but if EMCC knocks off the Tigers in Scuba on Saturday, they jump back to the top. And in the South, Mississippi Gulf Coast will likely need to win out, including a win against the leader Jones in the final regular season game to earn the top spot in that division. That's enough of Mississippi football for now. Plenty of more upsets to share, including number 12 Butler defeating number 3 Iowa Central on a Grizzlies business trip to Fort Dodge. Butler played maybe their best game defensively all season long, tallying 5 takeaways and preventing the Tritons from scoring for the first 30 minutes. Offensively, there was no trouble getting into the end zone. QB Tanner Murray found pay dirt through the air twice, and running back Seth McGowan collected a hat trick of touchdown runs in the 45-10 beatdown. Highland again kept the team to single digits as they have allowed 7 points in their last 4 games. Dodge City beat Ellsworth, and number 11 Lackawanna cruised to another win. The last big upset came in the ESPN Plus game of the week between Cisco and number 14 New Mexico Military. The Wranglers muffled the Broncos' usually dynamic offense with 6 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries, and an INT. The top rusher for Nittany and reigning NJCAA Player of the Week, Joel Jones, went down early, and the number 14 squad could never really get going, in part due to the terrible field position given by the Cisco special teams. David Michelle had 11 punts, 7 of which were inside the 20, and a kickoff fumble recovery set up one of the 3 Wrangler touchdowns in the upset win, 21-10. Elsewhere in the Southwest, number 8 Snow, number 13 Tyler, and number 6 Trinity Valley are back to their winning ways with 3 big offensive performances. A couple of inter-division games in D3 this week, but the 4 played between D3 programs presented no surprises. Number 5 Minnesota State, number 2 Rochester, and unranked Nassau all won, and number 3 North Dakota SCS held on in a close one against number 4 Minnesota North Mesabi Range. We close out with some more ranked matchups from last weekend. In D2 men's soccer, number 1 Northeastern Community College overpowered number 14 Southeastern 9-0. In D3 women's soccer, number 2 Brookhaven only needed 1 goal to beat number 3 Richland. And in volleyball, number 1 Florida Southwestern State took down East Florida State in 4 sets. And number 1 Scottsdale and the Fighting Artichokes survived a scare, beating unranked Glendale in a tiebreaker set 15-12. Well, here's hoping the games starting today are just as exciting as they were last weekend. Here's Alexa with the upcoming matchups for Week 9.
Like Zach said, there were some major changes in the rankings because a couple of big games last week. But we have a couple of big games coming up this week. Let's start looking at D1 football. Number 2, Iowa Western facing number 7, Butler. The defending national champions playing great football week in and week out. We know this. But Butler is coming off a big win against Iowa Central. They were the number 3 ranked team when they lost to Butler 45-10. So Butler obviously proving that they can come and play and shouldn't be overlooked. Could we have another upset? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Continuing in D1 football, we've got number 15 Northeast Mississippi facing number 11 East Mississippi. Now, Northeast Mississippi received their first loss last week to East Central. It was in overtime, but I would expect them to come back hungry for a win. EMCC coming off 2 weeks with a big win, so this battle in Mississippi could have a big impact on their standings. Moving into D1 men's soccer, number 5 Eastern Florida State versus number 9 Daytona State. Eastern Florida State has not lost a game since September 8th. That is a long time, but Daytona State also has a month-plus long win streak. Both schools obviously want to keep their top 10 status, so this one could get heated. Keeping in soccer, we move over to women's D2, number 1 Northwest Mississippi versus number 4 Jones. Northwest Mississippi is absolutely dominating their opponents. Only one team has been able to score against them, and that was back in the beginning of September. Jones is undefeated as well, and if they could come out and beat the number 1 team, that would be a huge win for them. Looking at some volleyball games now in D1, we've got number 1 Florida Southwest versus number 6 Miami-Dade. Florida Southwest has cemented their status as the school to beat. And Miami-Dade has suffered a few losses over the last week, but this could be their chance to get a big bounce back. And those are some of the biggest games coming up in the next week. We're going to toss it over to Zach and Aaron now, who I know have a lot to talk about.
Thanks, Alexa. Welcome back, Coach Aaron Arnold. Coach, it seems like every weekend we get a new story out of Mississippi junior college football. Another bizarre story this weekend as 2 undefeated teams get upset, and it completely shakes up the conference and the national playoff picture. With that being said, East Mississippi jumps back into contention. They're in the running because they play Northeast Mississippi this weekend. Massive MACCC matchup. Who do you like in that one?
Well, the Mississippi League's been pretty wild this year for sure. I think what you're seeing from that league is a very deep, very competitive league, and they're just beating each other up a little bit right now. I was definitely surprised to see Gulf Coast go down. I thought they would win out and go undefeated, but the good news for Gulf Coast is it doesn't change anything for them. I think they still control their destiny. If they're able to win out and win their league championship, they should be a playoff team. As far as the East Mississippi game goes, I think you bet on players, and I think you look at East Mississippi, and if you believe that big-time players win big-time games, East Mississippi has the best quarterback in the country right now. They've got a roster full of big-time players, and they've been there before. So if I got to pick that game, I probably would take East Mississippi, and that one looked pretty good.
Yeah, that's an interesting matchup because it's a tale of the two different teams coming into it, with EMCC riding 2 wins in October and Northeast maybe a bounce back spot, maybe a little bit of a letdown last week with that overtime loss against East Central. Moving to the center part of the country, we've got Butler. Last time we talked about them, we hyped up that Bucco Magic ahead of the matchup with number 1 Hutch. And maybe we were a few weeks early because they dominated nearly perfect football against number 3 Iowa Central last week. Not a lot of people saw that one coming. How do they carry that confidence into another big matchup with number 2 Iowa Western this weekend?
I think what you're seeing at Butler is, should be a tribute to a great coaching staff. They've gotten a lot better as the year has gone on. That's what great coaches do. They get their team better as the year goes on. They're playing great football right now. Obviously, huge win to go up to Iowa Central and knock off the number 3 ranked team in the country. So I'm really interested for this matchup this weekend. I do think as far as Butler's playoff picture, I think that first loss of the season at Garden City is really dragging them down right now. I still don't think you're going to see the 2-loss team make the playoffs, but if Butler can put together a convincing win over Iowa Western and then finish out the season with some strong wins, they may be the most compelling option among the 2-loss teams to have a shot to make the playoffs. But none of that's going to matter if they can't get by Iowa Western, and that's going to be a tough game. Coach Strohmeyer, I used to always say Strohmeyer is like the Iceman, right? He doesn't make any mistakes. He just lets you beat yourself. And if Butler does that, Iowa Western will win the game. It's going to be an interesting matchup, and I'm definitely excited to watch.
Yeah, they lost by 27 to the number 1 team. They won by 35 to the number 3 team. So maybe they find a middle ground. It's a little bit closer this weekend, or at least one can hope. But moving into the rankings, we talked last week, I posed the question that we might not see a Southwest team in the playoff run after the surprising loss from Kilgore a couple weeks ago. And then all of a sudden, more losses up at the top, and Kilgore and Trinity Valley jump into the 3 and 4 spots. So where are your 1 through 4? Where do you have them ranked right now?
I was okay with some of the rankings this week. There were a few questions that I did have. I think the one thing that has remained constant that I'm totally good with is Hutchinson at number 1 and Iowa Western at number 2. Again, those rankings are going to sort themselves out. They've both got some tough upcoming games, and they're going to play each other. So we're going to get to the bottom of who really is number 1 and who really is number 2. But I think with the information that we have available to us right now, those 2 teams are definitely number 1 and number 2. I think you look at the next 3, 4, and 5. You've got number 3 Kilgore, which is a 4-1 ball club. You've got number 4 Trinity Valley at 5-1, and number 5 Jones College at 5-1. And I think, again, based on the information we have, those are pretty interchangeable teams. I actually would rank those in the opposite order. I would have Jones College at 3, Trinity Valley at 4, and then Kilgore at the 5 spot. The ranking that was confusing to me, the one that I really didn't understand, was how we can justify ranking Snow College at 5-2 ahead of a 5-1 Gulf Coast team and a 5-1 Co-Lin team. And to me, both of those teams have a better record. They've played a more difficult schedule, and I think we missed the boat on the rankings with those guys. I would have had them at 6 and 7 respectively. And I think we kind of talked about it earlier, but I think that the Jayhawks are a little bit top heavy this year, and they're being rewarded by winning bigger games. And I think the Mississippi League is a little bit deeper and has more good teams in it. And I think they're getting punished a little bit for beating each other up. I think right now the Mississippi League is a little undervalued in the voting. I mean, since 2011. The Mississippi League has won the national title. I think they've won maybe 7 times in that since 2011. They've had 7 of the national championships in there, which is kind of an amazing stat. They've won 3 out of the last 5. So that's a league that deserves maybe to have a little bit more respect. I'd like to see a few of those teams ranked a little bit higher. But otherwise, it was pretty good, and I think it's going to sort itself out as the season goes on.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for those Mississippi teams down the stretch here, but it is chaotic. Excitement every weekend, and looking forward to talking some more excitement in junior college football with you next week. So thanks, Aaron.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, thanks so much. We have a break coming up, but on the other side of that, we have some student athletes tell us why the NJCAA means so much to them in part of our NJCAA Day celebration.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeartRadio. Ticket Smarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale. All backed with the Ticket Smarter 100% ticket guarantee. Thinking about your next great live event? Think smarter. Think Ticket Smarter. Get your tickets your way, guaranteed, at ticketsmarter.com.
Welcome back to NJCAA All Access. We are continuing to celebrate NJCAA Day today and asking people all across junior colleges why NJCAA and what their journey to JUCO was like. Here are some of the responses.
Hey, my name is Stetson McElravy. I play golf at Southwestern Community College in Creston, Iowa. And I chose Southwestern because growing up I was always homeschooled throughout high school. And I just knew that before I took that step to a major college that I wanted to get the closer feel of a community college where I could make sure that the professors were there to help me succeed in what I'm doing. And I'm currently getting my AA in business, and then this fall I will be pursuing a major in exercise science. I came from a family of a couple brothers who played junior college athletics, and I know that they really enjoyed their time. And when I took my visit to Southwestern, I had no doubt that that junior college experience was the one for me.
Hey, my name is Rogue Wallace. I'm a baseball player at Spartanburg Methodist College. It's a JUCO in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And one thing that I love about that place is the small, tight-knit community that it's able to offer. When I was being recruited in high school, we had COVID, and COVID kind of threw a wrench into everything. And a lot of four-year schools were unable to talk to high school athletes. So I was able to still reach out to junior colleges, and they were able to talk to me. And that's the reason why I chose junior college route, because I know it was a second step for my recruitment whenever it came to going to a four-year school. One of my favorite memories is we were able to beat up on a very, very good team that's usually nationally ranked. And after that night, we went out to a Mexican restaurant and they had karaoke. And one of our athletes, he went up to the karaoke machine and he started singing Honeybee by Blake Shelton. And our coach actually, he doesn't smile much, but he actually smiled and laughed along with the team, and it was a really good night, and I'll remember that for a long time. Having fun, you're getting a good education, and a lot of people sleep on that. Like, they sleep on the education level of a community college or a small school like that, but you're getting a education after high school, which no matter what level that may be, it's still important. So that's what we're all about, man.
My name is Lara Erdmann and I'm from Germany. I'm currently in my freshman year here at Arizona Western College, majoring in psychology, and I'm part of the volleyball team. Coming to Arizona Western definitely was the best choice for me. Not only are the class sizes smaller, and the professors will know your name, which will enable you to build a better connection. Walking across campus, you will know so many people that, especially if you're living far away from home, it will feel like a home away from home. Coming here, everything was new for me, but my experience here definitely exceeded my expectations. I want to thank Arizona Western College for offering great opportunities for student athletes, a vibrant community with so many options to get involved, and great support academically and athletically. I highly recommend attending a junior college. It will be a decision that you will not regret.
Those are just some of the stories that you're going to see in honor of NJCAA Day today. And we've released a ton all across our social media channels, not just the ones that we featured here. So we want to say a big thank you to every student, athlete, coach, school who sent us videos explaining why the NJCAA is so important to them, why they chose the JUCO route, and every opportunity that it has led to. And don't forget, we are still trying to raise our $1 million to the NJCAA Foundation cause. So go to njcaa.org/million, donate $1, and it's going to contribute to our Million Reasons Why in honor of NJCAA Day. In addition to NJCAA Day, we are also recognizing Breast Cancer Awareness Month since it's still October. And one of our executive leaders, Michelle Meadows, has her own journey with breast cancer, and she just wanted to give a little message to all of you out there.
Hello, NJCAA fans. I'm Michelle Meadows, Vice President and Chief Operating Officer at the NJCAA National Office. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I want to thank the NJCAA for taking a moment to recognize and support the countless women impacted by breast cancer every year. In 2015, I was one of the 1 in 8 women who will be diagnosed with invasive breast cancer in their lifetime. But thanks to the tremendous support of and advancements in research, the treatments for this disease are becoming more and more effective every single day. So in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I hope you will consider a donation to one of my 2 favorite charities, the KYAO Fund or Relay for Life, to continue the support for patients and families facing this dreadful disease. And to all the women out there, it's never too early to get your mammogram. I was 37 years old with no family history of breast cancer. So please don't wait, schedule your appointment today. And finally, to all the fighters, survivors, thrivers, and caretakers, we at the NJCAA salute you and the strength and the courage you display each and every day.
The future is threatened by enemies often unseen and unexpected. In the midst of an uncertain and evolving world, the need for Marines to defeat these shifting threats is critical, because the need to ensure stability for our nation has never been greater. When there are battles to win for America's future, there is one constant: Marines.
Welcome back to NJCAA All Access. With the big amount of games that happened last week, we've got some changes in the rankings, so let's get into it. We're going to start with D3 football. No changes. College of DuPage is still leading the pack there. In D1 men's soccer, Eastern Florida State and Barton swapped, now going 5th and 6th. Angelina jumps 2 spots from 10th to 8th, and Indian Hills falls from 9th to 11th. D2 men's soccer, Iowa Lakes moves up into the 2nd ranking, while Pima moves down to 3rd. Mesa CC leaps several spots from 17th to 12th. D3 men's soccer, Genesee taking over the top of the board, and Herkimer falls to 5th, while Northern Essex makes their way for the first time this season into the rankings in 10th. Keeping in soccer, but in D1 women's, not many changes in the top 10. Navarro moves from 11th to 10th, but further down, some teams swapping places. D2 women's soccer, Holmes comes in at the 2nd spot, which puts Phoenix in 3rd. That's the only change this week, so the majority of the D2 women's teams stay put. D3 women's soccer, Mohawk Valley falls from 4th to 6th, and a new name entering in at 10th, Onondaga. Welcome to the rankings. Switching over to volleyball in D1, we've got Miami-Dade sliding down from 4th to 6th, and New Mexico also moving from 8th to 10th. In D2 volleyball, a big fall for Richard Bland. Last week they were 3rd, they are now 9th this week. And Wallace State Hanceville moves up to 14th. Rounding out the rankings with D3 volleyball, Dutchess falls from 4th to 10th, and Century goes from 5th to 11th. That's all I've got for rankings this week. Now we're going to send it over to Zach with JUCO Gems.
Well, it was a little bit of a quieter week among top plays in the NJCAA landscape, but you know what they say, quality over quantity, and we certainly have that for you this week. We start with our ESPN Plus Game of the Week. It's the Cisco quarterback who rolls out on the run. Most guys give up on this play near the sideline, but not Christian Kaupua. He fires a laser to Ty Steele, who makes this unbelievable catch from his knees on the sideline. Both knees in. That's a catch on Sundays, too. And Cisco wins 21-10 over New Mexico Military. For the second straight week, we have a kicker in our top plays. It's Jalen Bullard of Holmes, a 39-yarder for the win and ice in his veins as he boots a bomb that clears the uprights. And Holmes knocks off Itawamba 26-24. And lastly, we head to New York, where Shuntaro Morimoto had the whimsical idea to try a bicycle kick on this cross, banking it off the post and in. And the 8-0 win over Adirondack was highlighted by that fantastic play. Let's watch it one more time as he leaps through the air, gets a piece of it, and puts it perfectly in the corner to round out the top plays.
What a great way to celebrate junior college athletes with our JUCO Gems every week on this NJCAA Day. And just another reminder, it is NJCAA Day, so we are trying to get to our goal of raising $1 million for the NJCAA Foundation with our A Million Reasons Why on this NJCAA Day. So go to njcaa.org/million and donate $1 to our foundation.
Yep, donate at that link below. And thanks everybody for tuning in for another edition of NJCAA All Access. We'll see you next week.